Well, speaking of marathons, we're now just 4 days away from this year's London Marathon. If you're taking part, you're probably winding down your training and making sure you carb load to get you through the grueling 26.2-mile course. But what do you do if you're observing Ramadan and you have to fast for up to 15 hours a day? Well, Haroon Mota from Muslim Runners has been speaking to Lydia Campbell about his motivations behind running the marathon whilst training during Ramadan.
I'm Haroon Mota and I'm running the London Marathon.
Experienced runner Haroon will be lining up in London alongside around 50,000 other people. But for Muslims running the race through the capital this year, they've had an extra challenge to contend with.
Training for the London Marathon has been tough. It's the first time I'm having to train for a marathon during the month of fasting, but I feel really strong. I'm in a very positive mental state and I can't wait to run the marathon on the 23rd of April, just one day after Ramadan.
Ramadan is the month of fasting in Islam, and adult Muslims, where able, will abstain from food and water during daylight hours. This year, the final month of training for the marathon has taken place during Ramadan. That means getting up just after 4 a.m. and fueling your body not only for the day ahead, but for long training runs.
Often people think that Ramadan is just about being hungry and thirsty, but to be honest, it's not. So when you think about the purpose that you're doing this as a form of obedience to God, you want to reach the end of Ramadan feeling spiritually nourished.
But as well as the spiritual benefits of fasting, it can also have physical benefits. A fast 8 or more hours puts your body in what experts refer to as a fasted state, and training then can actually make the body more efficient.
When we exercise in a fasted state, we utilise more fat for energy compared to carbohydrate. So that can bring some potential benefits. You could potentially exercise for a bit longer, using your fat stores more and sparing your glycogen, your carbohydrate stores, which we know if we deplete during a marathon, you kind of like hit the wall, as it's called.
Exercise rates amongst South Asians in Britain are low, so another motivation for Haroon is inspiring his community into sport.
When I first started running, I'll be honest in saying it was very lonely. I would travel to different cities running half marathons and marathons, and you could count on your fingers, or sometimes not count at all, the number of people of ethnic minority in race participation. Things have changed a lot since then, but there's so much more to do. People that would never ever dream of completing 26.2 miles, to see them just get to the start line itself is a massive achievement. And how much that also normalizes, running for our communities, that's the biggest sort of value and appreciation that I have.
For Haroon, this hasn't just been about running a marathon, it's been about breaking down barriers and encouraging his community to get involved in exercise during the month of Ramadan. Lydia Campbell, BBC News.